Hey, welcome back to my channel, Notes by LaRue. It is your girl, Teacher LaRue, and here I strive to bring you motivation, encouragement, and hope, one note at a time. If you are new to my channel and would like to become one of my beloved note takers, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Now that the rules are out of the way, grab a pen and a pad and prepare to take some notes because class is officially in session. I know y'all can tell I want to bust out a laugh, but I am so happy to be back. I know it's been 2 weeks and I try to be very consistent with my videos, but I have been moving for the past 2 weeks and nonetheless, I'm done, I'm settled, I'm comfortable, and I'm so excited to give you all this message, and I hope that you are equally excited to receive it. Today we're going to be talking about two very distinctive people that we have all encountered at some point in our lives, and they are Negative Nancy and Mr. Bitter Bob. Again, Negative Nancy and Mr. Bitter Bob. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to start with a story because, I'm a writer and I love storytelling. But I have encountered Negative Nancy in so many different forms, in so many different shades on my job. But the one that really stuck out to me the most is this Negative Nancy was a very seasoned lady. And I try to shy away from calling people old because I think that's such an ugly title, although their age fits it. But I'd rather say seasoned because they kind of been around for a while. So, which means you really should know better. But nonetheless, at the job that I used to work in, there was this seasoned woman, and she would come to work on 10 literally every day. And when I say 10, that is slang, I guess, for she was lit. She was turned up, but not in a good way. She always came in angry, upset, mad at the world. It was almost like somebody owed her something, which I don't understand why, but she used to do whatever she could to pick on the people at our, a place of employment, sabotage them, say ugly things to them because she knows 9 times out of 10 that they were going to react to her. But one thing about Negative Nancy that she never got to is because I knew where Negative Nancy was coming from. Why? Because I used to be a Negative Nancy. I knew exactly what she was trying to do. So what the things that she was doing, it really didn't, affect me none whatsoever because I had been there, done that, nothing to be proud of, everything to be ashamed of. But I'm so glad I'm in such a better and mature place in my life right now. But like I said, Negative Nancy would come in on 10 literally every day, and it irked me because she would do this early in the morning. We're talking like 8 a.m. in the morning. She didn't have the sense or the knowledge to know that somebody had readjusted her thermostat and took her from a cool 62 to a boiling 99, but she didn't know how to bring herself back down. So she wanted everybody else to feel ultimately what she felt. And of course, we all know misery loves company. So she tried to do whatever she could to send out invites. But I used to always tell my colleagues, hey, listen, just because someone invites you, to an argument or a fight does not mean you have to accept the invitation. Decline and keep moving. You got to learn to be the bigger person. And I know a lot of times people always say, well, no, I'm sick of her. I'm sick of them. And, I just had my boiling point and I just couldn't take it no more. Walk away. Like I say in my book, Words Are Weapons Too. Make sure you get your copy today on Amazon and also on Kindle. Words are weapons too. Silence is a response. Whether or not you say something, that's a response. So you know what I used to do when Negative Nancy used to come in every day on 10? Baby, I would drop them earbuds in, close this yamp, continue to do my work. Of course, she would mosey on into my corner, getting loud, talking over my music or whatnot. But although I heard her, I was not listening to her. And I don't think some people have quite mastered that yet. You can hear people, but you don't have to listen to what they're saying. And that's something I chose not to do. I chose not to listen to Negative Nancy. And I'm pretty sure you just like me. A lot of us have dealt with Negative Nancy and Bitter Bob. It's a shame that a man is that way, but we'll get into a man being petty later. But we've all encountered a Negative Nancy or a Bitter Bob at some point in our lives. And 9 times out of 10, it typically takes place at the workplace. You know what? Now, like I said, I don't care which position I have held at the various jobs that I have held, which there have not been very many, whatnot. I've always encountered somebody that was negative and somebody that was bitter. And ultimately, like I say, they wanted me to feel the same way that they felt. They wanted to project their pain on me and others because they were feeling pain themselves. And they didn't know how to pipe up and say, hey, well, you know what, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, and I really just don't know how to handle this. I really don't know how to cope with this. Can you help? Can you tell me if you've been in that situation before and what you did to overcome? But I say a lot of times, when you see people are constantly angry and upset all the time, they're spewing hate, negative words, talking reckless, as I love to say, 9 times out of 10, something is going on with the individual and they don't know how to quite express themselves. So all it is just really a cry for help. It's just really up to you as to whether or not you can see it for what it really is and not for what you think it is. Because a lot of times in the past, I've always thought like, gosh, they coming in here saying X, Y, and Z. They must really hate me, or they got to be jealous of me. But I had to remind myself, you were once in their shoes. What was it that caused you to turn up, I should say, the way you did? And I realized I was angry then because I was dealing with things in my personal life, and I did not know how to handle those things. And the biggest one, I've talked about is my mental illness, because I suffer with depression and anxiety, and thank God I have a handle on it now, whatnot. But at that time, I did not know what was going on, because I have to remind you, I had been going through that at the age of 14. I didn't know what it was then, and then on up into my early 20s and my mid 20s, and I'm like, I should be past this by now, but I didn't know what it was until I finally went to my physician. It was like, hey, you got this. And I'm like, what? So this is why I have been so angry, so bitter, so upset, and so hateful, and basically spewing hate, I should say, and negativity others people's ways, because I didn't know what I was going through. And I was angry because it's like, why I got to go through this and they're not going through this? But I have to remind you, just because someone is not as vocal or not expressive or do not show their pain or their hurt or their issues does not mean that they are not dealing with problems, especially internal ones at that. So you just have to keep that at the forefront of your mind. And next time you say, well, this person is just really attacking me because they really must be jealous. And no, it's not always that case. In some cases, it is that case. And I'm going to talk about Miss Barbara. And that was definitely her case, but I'm going to get to her later. But a lot of times it's things that they are battling with themselves and they don't know what to do with it. But nonetheless, Negative Nancy, I just had enough of it from this lady. And I went to her one day and I was like, Mrs. Nancy, I noticed you've been coming to work on 10, like you lit every day, like turned up early in the morning. I'm talking like bright as Christmas light. Girl, what's going on with you? And at that point, it was just like the floodgates opened up. And she told me that she was so tired of people, getting ahead of her, excelling. It seems like I'm still stagnant and stuck in the same place, but I see everybody else is climbing up the ladder. And, I had to kind of like look at her funny and say, you think it had anything to do with your attitude? Because I know for me, the reason why I was so stagnant and stuck, it was because of my little nasty attitude. But I noticed that the minute I changed my attitude, and I also changed my perception of things, and I thought positively, and I thought optimistically instead of being a pessimist, my whole outlook in life and everything just changed. It seemed like just one blessing right after the next. But, I had to tell her, I was like, you think maybe your stinky attitude has anything to do with it? Or you think maybe the way you treat people have anything to do with it? Because you have to understand, you have to be very careful with how you talk to people and treat people, because that person could be the individual that you need to get you to ultimately where you want to be. And of course, if you're nasty, you're dirty, you're rude to me, I could be in a position to help you, but I'm not, because I'm going to always think back to how you treated me. And I know that if you treated me this way, then 9 times out of 10, you'll treat other people that way, especially in your higher position. Because a lot of people, when they get up their ladder and they get a title behind their name and they get an office, I don't care if it's the size of a closet, they feel as though they're better than you. So I understood her logic in, saying, well, hey, I'm not going to do this because if she's this way with me, then she's going to be this way with other people. So I had to sit down and say, look, Nancy, I know you're old enough to be my mama. Hell, I know you're old enough to be my grandmama, but I'm going to need you to listen to me today. The attitude that you're doing, not nice. It's not cute. It's not going to fly. It's not going to work. Well, she said, and then, another thing, I feel like I've gotten so old, her words, not mine. I've gotten so old in my age, and there are a lot of things that I missed out on my life that I really want to do, and I did not have a chance to accomplish, and I just feel like I'm stuck. And I was like, Nancy, I know you are 60-something years old, but Nancy, you are not stuck. Nancy, you are not too seasoned. Nancy, you are still able and capable of doing whatever it is that you want to do if you put your mind to it. Just think, if you use all of that energy that you're spending on to be negative, you could probably be where you want to be. but you're not, because you redirected that energy and you use it for something negative to try to bring other people down, and you're wondering why they're still going up and you're still stuck exactly where you are. And I don't know why. Like Thomas Edison, I guess, light bulb went off. And it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Now, that's not to say that she channeled that energy into doing something positive, because I can assure you she has not. She's still stuck in the same place. Her attitude has gotten a little bit better, but it definitely still needs some improvement. But hey, like I say, you can lead the horse to the water, but it does not mean that they're going to drink it. It's up to them as to whether or not they want to consume that water. And apparently, Negative Nancy, she took a sip of it, but she been trying to keep drinking from it. So, hey, I guess, some people, you just can't change them. But aside from Negative Nancy, you do know we have Bitter Bob, right? Because, yes, men are just two. So, I say all of that to say another experience that I've had with an individual. And this, too, was in one of my previous workplaces. Catch it? But this individual, I'm like, now, you know what? You got balls. And I mean that literally, like, you have balls. You should not be petty. You should not do the things that some women do, which is be catty, gossipy, messy, basically. Whatever the case may be, whatnot. But for whatever reason, this individual, he too was like Negative Nancy. He just didn't like me. And I didn't understand why. And I was trying my best not to drop that J word, jealousy. But a lot of times that can be the case. And yes, men can be jealous of women too, as well as women can be jealous of men. But this individual that I worked with, we were both vying for a higher position, basically. And me, I try to keep stuff on hush hush, because I know when people find out what it is I'm trying to do, then they trying to check my moves and follow my moves and see what my next move is. I should say, I got to leave you. I got to keep you guessing. You can't know my every move. And this individual did, because I told one person I confided in, I was like, hey girl, listen, I had to apply for this job, and just drop that thing in that prayer book for me. I'm praying too, but when two or more are gathered, there he is, there in the midst. But it didn't work out that way, because she ran and told him, and it's like, hey, I applied for that position too. So of course he wanted to step to me and like, hey, well, why are you applying for that position? You don't have the credentials. You hadn't been here long enough, and I've been here longer than you, and you need to go sit down somewhere and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, bitch, I hear what you're saying. But what I'm saying is this. You have the credentials. I have the credentials. You have the years. I have the years. You have the degree. I have the degree. And may the best woman, or man, I should say, win. Guess who got the job? She did. Of course, he was upset and he was mad, but I didn't give a damn, because, hey, like I say, it all boils down to how you talk to people and treat people. Yeah, you can have the credentials. Yeah, you can have the letters behind your name, or whatnot. But at the end of the day, is how do you ultimately treat people? People talk. Hey, what do you think about Deetra? Is she a good employee? Is she somebody, good to work with? How is she with the students? How is she with the employees, the faculty, the staff? So my thing is this, I guess, well, I'm not going to say I guess, I know. What people had to say about me just spoke volumes. And also it was louder than what they had to say about him, even though he was loud towards me and projecting his bitterness. But at the end of the day, I can care less. I'm in the position that I am. I absolutely love what I do. I work for a university, students all the time, and I'm very student oriented. So I always say I know who I'm there for and what I'm there for. All the other stuff and the negative stuff, I just tune it out. And while we're speaking about that, we're going to talk about Barbara. Remember, I brought her up earlier. But here's the thing. Barbara and Jane, and I made mention of this in my book, plug, ad, whatever you want to call it. It is Words Are Weapons Too, and it is found on Amazon and also on Kindle. So be sure to get your copy or copies today. Barbara and Jane were two women that had started at the bottom of the totem pole, the lowest of the low. They had always said, hey, listen, girl, it does not matter who come up first. Make sure the other is to extend the hand down and pull her sister up. Okay? So as time passed, and they were both filling out applications, applying for jobs here and there, Barbara got the opportunity really of a lifetime. Barbara was catapulted into a very high position within the company. And Barbara said, now, okay, now that I've made it, Jane, I'm going to do whatever I can, to pull you up. If something come through, girl, let me know about it. Because now since I'm up here, whatnot, I got some pull so I can help you out. So Jane's like, okay, bet. Come to find out, Jane was like, hey, listen, I hear the company is looking for somebody to speak and do some presentations. Barbara, come on now, girl. That's me all day long. I do stuff like that. I mean, come on now. Me. I'm the one. You know what? Now, hey, listen, Jane, I got you. Now, if anybody y'all that know and can remember, I got to take it back to biblical. Joseph, not Mary's husband Joseph, but the other Joseph with those jealous brothers. Remember, he was down in jail, and he had those two men who was down there with him, and they kept having those dreams, and they not know what it was about. And he said, hey, I can interpret dreams. I can tell you what they mean, but the thing about it is, when I do this for you and you get out, think of me. Don't forget I'm down here. Tell the king I'm down here now, and I need y'all to come look out for a brother. I'm paraphrasing. Y'all know that was not the language back then, but it ties into what I'm saying. He told the two men what their dreams meant. They were out. One was restored back to his position, which was a cupbearer, and the other one was restored back to his position. But the thing of the matter is, it did not work out in their favor, none whatsoever, except for one of them. And the king said, oh my God, I've been having these dreams and these visions, and I need somebody to tell me what they mean. Now, some time has passed, and this man that had been restored back to his position, went on about his daily life, and he didn't even remember Joseph or know who he was until the king kept talking about it. And I guess when he kept talking about it, it triggered something. He was like, oh my God, man, I forgot. I know this dude. When I tell you, he can tell you what them dreams about, but he down there in prison, but you got to get him out in order for him to tell you what the dream is. So long story short, the king said, hey, look here, Joseph, if you can tell me what X, Y, and Z mean, I'll let you up out of there. And that's exactly what Joseph did. He told him what X, Y, and Z meant, and the king let him out. But the whole point of the matter is that this individual who told Joseph, I'm not going to forget you, I got you. He forgot him, right? Barbara forgot Jane, right? But Barbara intentionally forgot Jane. She didn't have a doubt in her mind that Jane was not the woman for the job or could do the job. It's the point of the matter is that Barbara was now up here. Jane was now still here. So Barbara knew that if Jane were to have those presentations for the company, she would quickly go from here to here. You see the shift? Barbara is now here. Although she's still up and has a very prominent position, very powerful position. But Jane is now above Barbara. Barbara didn't like that. Barbara was not having that. So you know what? Barbara was not going to have Jane speak and do any of those presentations. And she did exactly that. Oh my God, it just hurt Jane's poor soul, because she was like, how we start from down here? Or as Drake would say, start from the bottom, now we here. But I'm still here and you up there. What's up? You said you're going to look out for me, and you're going to look out for her sister or not. She didn't look out for her, but it was okay. Because although they both were climbing up the ladder, and Barbara thought that she was knocking Jane back down the ladder, she was not. She did not. Jane got her opportunity of a lifetime, and she was booked and paid for her very first speaking engagement, book signing, Q&A, and a nice fancy lunch. Hey y'all, I'm Jane. And guess what? Barbara knows.